There's a balancing rod. Wow, we could just play right here with a balancing rod.
Right. I think this was that the spot we parked in right there?
Yeah, maybe not there.
It's kind of like right next to the
So we could play here too.
There's a balancing rod.
Yeah, there it is. We'll turn around and see it. I think it was right here.
This is our spot.
And we could play right here if you want. But let's keep going for a while and see what else we got. So some of you might be familiar with our infamous roadside generator shows. Pop-up shows that we play with the use of a generator for electricity just by the side of the road. Or in national parks, national forests. Places around the US, particularly desolate places, out of the way places. Since 2016, we've been performing for those places, and if we have 4G, we've been broadcasting our performances on social media. So that all came about because we were in the process of doing a very long figure-8 shaped tour through the South and the Southwest in late 2016, right before the 2016 election. And morale around the country was low, as it often is during an election year. And for whatever reason, although we had plenty of shows scheduled for that tour, I think 6 shows or so canceled last minute. And it was more and more demoralizing for us as the shows were canceling. So we decided on those surprise days off, let's play a show just anywhere in some beautiful place in the middle of nowhere and broadcast it online. And so the fact that we could perform and broadcast it internationally as we were performing. Kept going with these generator shows because people seemed to love them, we seemed to love them. It was a great way to honor the land that we were performing in. So we did that in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. In 2019, the 2 places that we chose to play generator shows were really special, really beautiful, strange places for us. It was during this long 2-month tour across Canada and then back across the northern part of the US. And the first generator show was in Eastern Oregon, nearby Snively Hot Springs. Specifically, we played at a place called the Black Willow Siphon. It's in Malheur County, and what would you call that?
You guys are on the edge of some desolate shit.
So, how did we choose that spot? Well, in 2015, we did 3 big tours.
Played over 120 shows all over the US and a couple in Canada that year.
That was also the year that we discovered one of the favorite things about touring, visiting hot springs. We played the show in Olympia. We were about to have a few days off in Olympic National Forest, and our friends in Olympia recommended we check out the Olympic Hot Springs in Olympic National Forest. Beautiful, rustic hot springs, many different pools, many different temperatures, and a long hike to get there. Like right here is where we slow down. Like as if we traveled all the way across the country to get here.
I'm glad we came here when I was.
So, a very rewarding visit that turned us into hot spring enthusiasts for life. Gonna take a bath. At that point, I found an online database of hot springs, and on our drive back east, we decided to hit as many hot springs as we could on the drive, especially since there are a lot of hot springs between the Pacific Ocean and the western edge of the Dakotas and everything south of there. So we were in Eastern Oregon, driving towards Boise at night. I think we had a day off the next day. We had left Western Oregon, the beautiful Cascades and the green light everywhere, and now it was night. We had no idea what the landscape looked like. We keep tooling down the road another hour or so until we get to a hot spring called Snively Hot Springs. We decided not to, look too hard for the hot springs at night, because you never know if you're going to land in some crazy rushing mountain river out there. So we parked the car, went to sleep in the van by the side of the road near the hot springs, and we woke up the next morning and clapped our eyes on this incredible vista. There was a balancing rock way up above our van and rocks everywhere, sagebrush. It kind of looked like we were in the Wild West again, in the desert again. So we went to the hot spring. It was wonderful. And it was in the middle of a river, rocks all around it to kind of separate the warm part from the cold water in the river. And then these cowboys showed up. They came right up to us and started talking to us. And they told us, "You're on the edge of some desolate shit." Little did we know, they were absolutely right. When we went to leave to head to our Boise show that night, we put the Boise address in our little GPS, and it took us down all these unpaved roads beyond the hot spring. We'd see cows grazing, but other than that, there was nothing out there. And for us, 2015 ended up being a year of 9 flat tires. By that point, we'd already had a few. So we decided to turn around and explore that place next time, once we got some heavy-duty tires put on the van. But our curiosity was piqued. We needed to know what's out there in that desolate shit. So 2017, we were back in the same area.
And we decided this time, rather than take a day off, why not play one of the towns that we drive through on our way from the west coast of Oregon to Boise. So we said, oh, Bend, Oregon's right there in the middle. Let's do it. Let's play a show in Bend, Oregon. We've never been there before. We always like to explore new places, find some new fans out there, especially in the middle of nowhere. I was originally cautioned about the show. We were told, this is a metal club. I don't know if what you do is going to go over so good here. But I've done my time in more than a few metal bands. And, there's definitely some metal influence in some of what we do with Darsombra. So I thought, I think we can hold our own with a metal crowd. A few of them might be into what we're doing. We get to the venue. It turns out it's not really much of a metal club at all, but more like a country music club. And if we have a tenuous link to metal, there's none whatsoever to almost none whatsoever to country music. So we were a little concerned that the show might go, not go over so well. But we set up anyway, and the people seemed to be friendly enough, and they were asking as we set up, what do you guys sound like? And we're like, Pink Floyd? Maybe?
Thinking of some common frame of reference.
I don't know. Maybe they're thinking The Wall or Dark Side of the Moon. We're maybe more like I'm a Gumma or something. I don't know. But either way, we set up our show, and everybody was out in a little courtyard smoking. We told, start playing, people will come in. Nobody came in. We got through about one song, which is probably like a 10, 15-minute song. Nobody bothered to come in the whole song. So we thought, well, this is a perfect time to practice our new album that we're trying to work on. It's a 40-minute piece of music called Transmission. And I think we got about 10, 15 minutes into it before the bartender came over in front of the stage and gave us this signal and just said, I'm sorry, what's that?
We're closing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not working, so.
Okay, you guys got to pack up and go home. We're closing up the bar early.
Oh, no.
So we learned. Listen to the voice that says, take the day off and go to the hot spring, instead of the voice that says, oh, no, try to play at this weird venue in some town.
We vowed at that point, next time we go through this area, no offense to people who might be living in Bend, but fuck Bend, Oregon, we're going to go play a show at the hot springs.
We will not get We will not.
No more Bend overtures.
No, we got Bend, Oregon, and we're not gonna get Bend, Oregon. We're not gonna get Bend, Oregon.
In Bend, Oregon. So then, fast forward to 2019, we repeated the same route of our 2017 tour, which was across Canada and back across the northern part of the U.S. At this point, we left days off after our shows in Western Oregon so that we could have a full day to go out to Snively Hot Springs, explore the desolate shit with the van, with the heavy duty tires, and see what we could put together for the landscape and possibly for people if we have 4G, which we did not.
I remember getting there in the daytime. We had plenty of time to scout around, and definitely we went down the road that we were sent down once before that we were turned around from because we were like, we're kind of freaked out by this. And we decided, well, let's go down it this time and see what we can see. And it was beautiful, just very desolate desert landscapes, high desert landscapes.
There was almost a technicolor quality of the space. At some point, we had checked out a couple spots and they were okay, but not perfect. Our ideal spot was a flat space with a large rock wall behind it that we could potentially project our videos on once the sun set. So finally we found this one spot that was right at the top of a hill next to a long siphon. The spot that we chose with the siphon there and then the large rock wall behind us and the flat area on top of a hill overlooking a great valley was really dramatic and very beautiful. We did what we could to capture that drama in our documentation of our performance that day, but it's really hard to describe. You just have to see it.
There was no self-service whatsoever, pretty much anywhere in the region, but we were able to record it anyway for posterity, for a later time, which is what you're gonna get to see today. a little bit, take a break, reset up camera shots or restart the cameras or whatever, and do it again. And I really enjoyed it. And we just kind of kept playing as the day went on, as the sun went down. And I think we played a little bit after sundown as well, with the attempt to project some visuals onto the rock wall across the little stream from us. I remember having a really fun, relaxed time and feeling very like, you know, we just had all day to just have fun with this. Very energized by the landscape, and just that, you know, just felt like we were free to do whatever we wanted all day long there.
Yeah, it was.
And nobody was gonna care or be bothered by it. We were miles from where anybody could hear us scream.
Some places where you are just so alone as a human life form. I mean, for us, we're with each other, but still, we're so isolated that you kind of almost tap into parts of your personality and parts of your subconscious that maybe you wouldn't access in a place where there are a bunch of other people around you, particularly when you are sensitive to other people's feelings or emotion or energy or whatever it is. So there is something very recharging about those experiences, and I do remember feeling when we were done that night as sort of celebratory as I feel after we play the show, when I feel good about the show, obviously, not necessarily like that Bend, Oregon show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it definitely felt more fulfilling than the Bend, Oregon show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, leaps and bounds.
Even with no applause whatsoever.
No, we might have gotten applause from the bugs or the aliens watching us. What was it, a week later? We played their second generator show of 2019 on that tour, and another beautiful, strange place.
Badlands National Park, South Dakota. When I was a young boy, my parents took a cross-country trip to California and back, and one of the places we visited during that trip was Badlands in South Dakota. And I remember it made a really big impression on me. Badlands itself has this, the name has this like, oh, it's kind of creepy and scary. But then when you actually see the landscape itself, it's just otherworldly. It's lunar, you know. It's just a very magical place. And I think a lot of people realize that about it. So it's always held a warm place in my heart. So we did a tour in, I think, 2015, and we were going to be driving right through the Badlands because we had a show in Rapid City and then Sioux Falls the next day. And so we thought, oh, let's drive through let's drive through and check it out. We didn't really have a lot of time, and we got delayed on the way there because the cop pulled us over because our van was swerving because we had new tires on it, and we was all driving crazy, and he thought maybe we were drunk or something, but we weren't. And he let us go, but we had a very quick moment, not even like an hour, to sort of take that main drag, the one most traveled on through the scenic landscape of the Badlands, and it has several pullouts along the way, and they're all amazing and breathtaking. And we said, well, we got to come back here and spend a little more time here. Maybe we can get deeper, further in.
Rapid City has always been really good to us. We've always had a really, really good time with our friends at the Cave Collective there. And so, to be fair, sometimes it's hard to go and visit the Badlands because we're having such a good time in Rapid City, and we're typically driving east from there, that we don't leave a lot of time for the Badlands. But thankfully in 2017 we knew, okay, we want to hang out at the Badlands more, let's make a point. So we actually had a few days off, I think, between Rapid City and Sioux Falls that year. And that also happened to be the year of a total solar eclipse that cut a long line across the US. So we were actually not very far from the path of totality, and the eclipse happened, I believe it was the day or 2 days after our Rapid City show. Surprise! We had forgotten about this eclipse until maybe like a few days before it happened, and we thought, okay, let's catch it. And after sort of plotting the place with the clearest sky, we ended up in this really funny little town in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, called Lost Springs, population 4. A subject for a whole nother episode of Darsombra TV. But I will say, we played the generator show for the eclipse by the side of the road outside of Lost Springs. Afterwards, we were so energized by how incredible it was to be performing during that change in light and change in environment and just change in the sun. We were so charged up by that we threw everything in the car. It was maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And we drove through all the eclipse traffic to the Badlands, this time with the intention of getting deeper into it to find a place to do an evening performance. We found a area that's kind of further south from the main park, and we found a pull-off just right on the top of that table or mesa, and it had this incredible view of this prehistoric landscape, you know, spanning out in front of us. And we set up the cabs and we played the show there.
Ready? Yes. And
I just remember we went to a place, it was definitely off the beaten path. It didn't seem nearly as populated as the other places we had visited in the Badlands, and we were just very emboldened by the several generator shows we had done in the country up to that point. So I think we just thought, I think we can just set up here and make a little noise for a little bit, you know, and probably get away with it, and without getting stopped. And we did, and we set up. I think when we did it, we only got it all up and running like maybe an hour before sundown. And I just remember we were trying to work our way through a newer piece of material that we were just sort of jamming out and working, on, and just trying to have a nice, relaxing, mellow kind of sundown kind of show.
I only have one really strong memory of that show, which is that, we had these, at the time, these white, loud speaker cabinets that we had set up on the edge of the mesa with us sitting in front of them. And there was a small part of me that was super concerned that the bass from the cabinets would aggravate the earth beneath us and send us tumbling down into the Badlands themselves. Other than that, pretty uneventful show. We had sweet potatoes for dinner. That's all I remember. But we still were in love with the Badlands, and we knew, okay, next time we swing through here, we're gonna do this again. Because why not?
And make some time for it this time.
A good amount of time. So 2019, fast forward, again, the same route across Canada, back through the northern part of the US, play our show in Rapid City, have a wonderful time with the Cave Collective, and then there we are. We've got 24 hours to scout a spot to perform in the Badlands and to set up and play a show, and possibly, we have warned some of our friends in Rapid City, we were thinking about doing this, possibly have, for the first time ever for a generator show, a real live invited audience.
We are going to play a show here in about at 6:30 Mountain Time. And if you live near Rapid City, South Dakota, you could probably get here before then. It's only about an hour away. And if you want to come, you can message me for coordinates, and I will tell you how to get here.
We have had uninvited audiences before who have always received the show open-hearted, and we've always been so happy to have them there. But to have an invited audience that came to our show in the middle of nowhere felt very special, very auspicious, and possibly will be a feature of our performances in the future when we come out of this adventure that we're in right now.
I remember we drove into the Badlands, and the first place we went was the spot we had played back in 2017 to just check it out. It seemed a little worse for wear. It also seemed a little slightly more populated than we were there last, so we decided let's do a little bit more exploring.
There's a road.
We found a little side road off of the road we took to get to that spot. They kind of shot off and went to a very rustic camping spot with even a weird, funny little makeshift toilet, and it was beautiful. It overlooked the opposite side of that mesa, and in all directions it was just stunning. We had still 24 hours until we were going to try to play a show the following evening, so we thought, well, looks like a good contender. But let's do a little bit more driving around and see if we can find any other spots. We went and drove around a bunch, and that place still ended up being the best spot for us. It was private and it was beautiful, and it seemed like a great spot.
Just an easy place to spend some time connecting with the land, and then ideally in the evening sharing with it. Rick Ocasek had just died. We spent the day listening to the cars, doing yoga, eating snacks, enjoying the environment, trying to stay out of the sun by sitting in the shadow of the van. And because we have 4G, letting our Rapid City people and people on the internet know, come out and see us play. We're going to do a generator show right here with this lovely view right there. Tonight at 6 p.m. Ooh. Just a story. Post the video. Yeah, this is gonna be a nice place for a show tonight, and we're only gonna listen to cars today. Lo and behold, we had an audience of 6 people. 4 people had driven the 1 hour from Rapid City, and 2 people had driven 2 hours from Soldier Creek. So props to everyone who showed up. We're so grateful for you. It was so amazing to have an audience. We played so many songs. felt like such a gift for the environment, for ourselves, for the audience, for the stars, for the rising moon, everything. And then, when the show was over, we projected movies on the van and we ate. Everybody had dinner together. Just a real fun little one-night festival for one band.
Probably one of my all-time favorite shows I've ever played.
Got some dancers there.
Yeah, favorite show.
We've played in some great places.
Oh, we just played the show right there. Look at the lights and the moon and the Milky Way.
But that Badlands show, it let us remember that music is first off a universal language, but also that performance can happen anywhere. And although we love music venues and we cannot wait to perform in them again, we also just love performing, and we love sharing a performance with a human audience, an insect audience, an alien audience, or just each other. And that show reminded us that, you know, when the heart is there, you really can put art anywhere.
and I just love to play any chance I get. And I realized that a long time ago that you can do that anywhere, and it can be just as meaningful. You know, a show at whatever, a big renowned rock club, like whatever, CBGBs or emos, can be awesome and life-changing, but so can a show in somebody's basement or in somebody's backyard. We are inspired by these places we go to. We usually go to these places to hike or to soak in a hot spring, and they recharge you just sitting there and looking at the landscape. And one another thing that recharges me is playing music. So if you can combine the two, to me, it's like the best of two worlds. And it's nice to look out and see a sea of faces, especially if they seem to be receptive to what you're doing. But it's also pretty amazing to just look out and see just miles and miles of desert vista or mountains, landscapes, or the ocean or something like that. To me, I get just as much out of that. I feel like I'm performing for the world, even if nobody else is seeing it at the moment.
Or the universe. There is something to be said about performing without a roof over your head as you perform. Performing to the stars and the sky and just everything above you. Who's watching?
Who indeed?
Who indeed?